Getting ready to go jump up, go grab some bait, see what we can do. Chad, you throwing the net today? Did you bring your gum?
No, forgot the gum.
No, actually, I'm good to go. I went to the doctor and they had mentioned I might have a tear, but I have no pain whatsoever. I threw the net yesterday. I was good to go. So I'm hoping that I can still feel just a tiny little twinge every once in a while if I like turn like this.
What if somebody punches you in the arm?
I'd probably be hurt. But you wouldn't do that to me, would you, Chad?
Not till after you catch all the bait.
All right, well, let's hopefully today's gonna be pretty good. I know the winds are supposed to pick up a little bit, so we're gonna go after it and see what we can do. All right, we are loaded up with bait and getting ready to go fishing. We're gonna catch the last half of this
Major, right?
major. So we're gonna get it done, see what we can do. The wind's picked up quite a bit, so it's gonna be a bumpy ride across, but the Sea Pro can handle it. Oh, come on, man. Well, folks, what's happening is that we got out to the spot. There's been a great show of fish on the bottom, and Chad just caught a small red grouper on a pinfish, and I'm hooking white bait in the tail, and I'll show you in just a second how I'm doing that. But the bite seems pretty good so far. We're in the major. We're catching the last half of the major. Oh, Chad just lost one, so I think the bite's going to be pretty good, and then I think it might slow down a little bit, but the wind's up a little bit, but I think we can get into some fish and go from there. Right now what I'm doing is I'm using a 3/4 ounce Stewie jig, and when you hook them in the tail like that, it takes them a while to get to the bottom because the fish will swim with the weight. But the tide's really not moving right now, and that fast I just lost my bait. Let me show you what I'm doing. Okay, I'm taking the white bait and I'm hooking them right in the tail. What I typically do first is I'll remove a couple of scales to make it easier for me to hook that bait, and then I'll hook it right in the tail just like that and send them right down. And they've been, if you're not quick enough when it hits the bottom, you'll lose your bait just like I did. There we go. Little gag. Where there's little ones, there's big ones. Right in the corner of the mouth. But as you saw, as soon as it got to the bottom, they were on it. Chad, what are you doing over there?
Huh? Swimming a pinfish around.
Chad's hooked up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to load up the chum dropper with live bait. Let's see if we can't get these fish going. decent red grouper right there. I went back old school, the way Chad and I used to fish. I'm using a knocker rig, 3-ounce weight knocker rig, just like that, hooking a pinfish in the tail. That was a good fish. Okay, as I just explained, I'm using a knocker rig where the egg sinker is sliding freely, and then I'm taking and I'm hooking this pinfish right in the butt, or right next to the butt, next to the anal fin, and just dropping them down, and they're pretty much hitting them right away. This is the old school type of fishing we used to do with the knocker rigs and the conventionals, and so I thought I'd try it and see, just give them a little bit different look, and it works. And I'm using the 3-ounce weights that I make now, and the 4-aught hook that we offer. So one thing, and I know I've explained this in past videos, but what you want to do is when you feel that sinker get to the bottom, what you want to do is you want to raise up and you want to reel up just a little bit, or reel up until you feel your bait, because a lot of times if it's a bigger bait, that bait will swim away from the weight as it's going down. I put on a hand-sized pinfish earlier, and he literally, I had to reel up about 20 feet and then drop him back down again, so he would go to the bottom. So just because your weight's on the bottom doesn't mean that your fish is on the bottom. So you want to be cognitive of that. See, I'm trying to use big words. You want to be aware of that so you can make sure that your bait is on the bottom, because those fish, a lot of times they won't, well, most of the times they won't come up off the bottom to eat that bait. Chad's hooked up. Another red? No? Snapper?
Snapper.
Nice snapper. There you go. First snapper, and the second snapper of the morning. Mine was a little small, but nice one, Chad. What do you get? What in the... Maybe that was the problem.
Which also explains why he just came up off the bottom. He was running from something.
Oh, come on, man. Look at the size of that grouper. Jesus, criminy. Stupid shark. God dang it. That sucks, man. That was a grouper right there.
Look at the teeth. That had to be a beast of
yeah. God. Well, no wonder why. Yeah, there he is on the side imaging. No wonder why we weren't really getting bit.
Man, that sucks.
God. What'd you hook him on? Well, what we're gonna do is we're moving this shark. I knew something was up with this spot. I mean, we were getting fish, but not with the show of fish that we had and everything that was going on. I knew something was up, because we should have been catching a lot more fish a lot faster. And then Chad hooked that grouper, that big grouper, and it got eaten by the shark, as you saw. So I could see him on the side imaging down below, and he had the whole bottom riled up. So we're gonna move. I've got a ton of spots in this area, so we're gonna move a couple hundred feet away, maybe a couple hundred yards away, just to get away from him, see what we can do. But that was definitely a nice keeper grouper Chad had on. It was funny because that fish started like digging really hard, and then all of a sudden he turned around and started coming straight to the top, and that's when he got eaten. He was trying to get away from the shark, and so unfortunately we couldn't get him up. But we're going to move to another spot and see what we can do. Well, at first it looked like it was it was a good hit. Snap the grunt. Big grunt. Okay, what we're doing now is we're actually belly hooking on the knocker rig. Well, at least I am. Chad's belly hooking on a jig head. He just caught a gag. I just caught a flounder. We've been trying to establish a pattern of what they want to eat, and I think we may have finally figured it out of how they want those baits presented to them, because we've done it all kinds of different ways, and right now this seems to be the one that they want. Chad's on. Oh, huh?
Chad's off.
Chad's off. Well, now that we're starting to establish the pattern, now we're starting to get into the fish pretty good. So that's the key. Is establish that pattern, figure out how they want to eat the bait, and then present it to them like that. Now each spot might be differently. You might have to present it differently to different spots, but I mean, that's not a bad snapper. It's a chunk. Because it's a red grouper. Now Chad's presenting his a little bit differently than I am. I'm using the knocker rig and he's using a regular jig head, and he's hooking them in the belly, but it's just a little bit different presentation. Oh, I see what he's doing. He's pitching out. Sweet, the red grouper just fight. I think you got a monster on. He's like an 18-inch fish. You definitely won't keep, but there's a ton of those in Tampa Bay, that's for sure. We've got a storm rolling in on us. Knock on wood, there's not been any lightning that we've heard, so looks like it's raining pretty hard. Well, we are getting ready to get hammered with this storm, but we just got hammered by fish. So we're gonna probably stick this out since there's no lightning, which I can handle rain. I don't mind rain. It's just the lightning. So, and the radar indicated there was no lightning. So we're gonna stick it out and see what happens. Chad just lost a monster. I had one that I couldn't even stop. Usually when I put on my rain jacket, it won't rain, but I can almost guarantee it's gonna rain this time. Well, it's amazing. After that storm went through, the wind pretty much laid right down. It's almost flat calm out here. It's crazy. And the bite's okay. We've just been losing a ton of big grouper. Nothing we can do to stop them because we're fishing a pretty ledgy area and we just haven't been able to stop them. We're freelining pinfish right now, and we've gone to the big boy poles. I'm using the big spinning rod right now, and we're hooking them. We just can't stop them.
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. It's not a bad fish.
As big as that bait was, I was thinking it was going to be a lot bigger than that.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm using my my bait cutter. We finally caught some bait that was big enough to cut up, so I'm using my bait cutter to get our chum, and because we're getting ready to hit this flip of this tide and see what we can do.